The day my husband laughed in court and said, "She has nothing," was the same day I slid the evidence across the table and watched his entire life collapse in front of strangers. My name doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that I was once a loyal wife, a quiet supporter, the woman who stood in the background while her husband built an empire using my money, my trust, and my silence. We lived in Los Angeles, in a house I helped buy before he ever made his first million. I worked 2 jobs in the early years. I sold my jewelry. I signed papers without reading them because I believed marriage meant protection. He was charming in public. Successful. The kind of man people respected. At home, he was distant. Cold. Always working late. I blamed myself. I thought love meant patience. I was wrong. The first crack came from a bank notification. A property transfer I didn't recognize. Then another. Then another. I confronted him gently. He smiled. He told me I was imagining things. He said, "You don't understand business." That night, I searched the files he always kept locked. What I found destroyed me. Forged signatures. My name copied. Properties transferred to shell companies. And messages. Hundreds of messages. Between him and another woman. Talking about our house, our future, and how stupid she is. I collapsed on the floor. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't scream. I felt erased. The humiliation wasn't private. He had already introduced her to investors. People I knew smiled at her. I wanted to disappear. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat on the edge of the bed while he slept peacefully beside me, breathing slow, calm, unbothered, like the man next to me hadn't just erased my existence on paper. I kept staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of our marriage. Every time I defended him. Every time I stayed quiet. Every time I chose love over instinct. I felt stupid. Not naive, stupid. The next morning, I looked at myself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. My eyes were swollen. My hands were shaking. I whispered, "How did I let this happen?" And immediately hated myself for asking. I didn't tell anyone. Not my family. Not my friends. Because explaining betrayal out loud makes it real, and I wasn't ready for that yet. Instead, I watched him. I noticed how confident he had become. How careless. How he talked about our house like it was his alone. How he took phone calls outside and smiled in ways he hadn't smiled at me in years. One afternoon, I followed him. I sat in my car across the street, watching him walk into a cafe, and then I saw her. You always imagine you'll feel rage in that moment. I didn't. I felt small. She laughed. She touched his arm. She leaned in like she belonged there. And the worst part wasn't seeing them together. It was realizing he looked lighter with her. Happier. Like I was the weight he had already dropped. I drove home and broke down completely. I slid down the wall in the kitchen and sobbed until my chest hurt. I cried for the woman I used to be. I cried for the years I gave him. I cried because I felt replaceable. That night, I almost confronted him. I stood at the bedroom door, heart pounding, ready to scream the truth, ready to beg for honesty, ready to end it all. But then I remembered something. Every time I asked questions before, he lied. Every time I trusted words instead of facts, I lost. So I stopped. I realized something terrifying and powerful at the same time. If I confronted him emotionally, I would lose. If I confronted him legally, I would win. That's when the crying stopped. Not because the pain disappeared, but because it transformed. I started saving everything. Screenshots. Bank notifications. Copies of documents I didn't even understand yet. I taught myself how to read legal language. I learned the difference between ownership and control. And while I was quietly building a case, he was still laughing. Still confident. Still underestimating me. He thought I was broken. He didn't know I was becoming dangerous. Not with anger, but with proof. For weeks, I did nothing. I cried in the shower so no one would hear. I questioned my worth. I almost gave up. Then something changed. I stopped crying and started documenting. Every forged document. Every transfer. Every email. I hired a female attorney quietly. I didn't confront him again. I let him believe I was broken. He underestimated me. That was his final mistake. The courtroom was packed. Investors. Reporters. Friends who once doubted me. He smirked when he saw me. Then my lawyer spoke. She revealed everything. The forged deeds. The mistress. The money trail. I stood up and held the documents high. Gasps filled the room. His face drained of color. The judge ordered an investigation on the spot. His assets were frozen. His empire exposed. That moment. That silence. That shock. That was my revenge. 6:30 to 8:30, aftermath and moral punchline. He lost everything. The properties were returned. The mistress disappeared. The respect, gone. I didn't celebrate. I healed. Justice didn't make me loud. It made me free. I learned this. Silence protects abusers. Evidence protects survivors. And sometimes, the quiet woman wins.
Before you go, if this story moved you in any way, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Revenge Uncut. Your support truly means everything to us. Don't forget to leave a comment below. We read every single one, and your words help shape this channel more than you know. Help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers so we can keep bringing you powerful, real, and unforgettable stories. Thank you for being part of this journey.